said that weird. I can't tell how I said it weird, but I did. So this is the first members video. Sprouts, there is a video slot open to suggest. So if anybody has any suggestions, go ahead. Comment them below, comment them on a post. I can make another post if we need. But if not, that is totally alright. I have contingencies as always, but the option is there for you should you choose to suggest something. So I'm gonna tell you all a story. The story is about a boy way back, quite long ago. This is right as Dark Souls 3 released. 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 So either like it was like 2015, 2016 kind of time. This was a little bit after Dark Souls 3 had released, a little bit after Dark Souls 3 had been released. I had heard of these games and I wanted to try one out. So I went to my local EB Games back when EB Games was like a thing that you could go to and wasn't a very sad experience. I'm not trying to throw shade, but EB Games, I think they've all been transformed into GameStops here in Canada, but awful. They smell bad. They're weird. They don't carry like hardly anything. Middle of the shelf games aren't a thing anymore. I wish they were, because I hate streaming models, but you know, or streaming models or digital distribution is not my thing. I don't like it. But I asked the dude, I was like, I've seen Dark Souls 3. I really want it. Should I get it? And he was like, you know what? Get Bloodborne. He was like, it's by the same people. Similar idea, but it's way more accessible. Now, way more accessible to who, I will say, because these games are brutal. Bloodborne, the amount of body horror in this game. I was maybe not quite ready to see a woman, like, her shadow, at least, so it's not like it was, like, on camera, but, like, a woman transform into a giant dog. Like, if you know the Vicar Amelia boss fight, you know what I'm talking about. The one reborn is storytelling, and that is in the storytelling, which is incredibly vague. It's very cryptic, esoteric at times, and I think it's just fabulous. Like, it's so perfectly done. There's a reason why there's an entire, like, frickin' cottage industry of lore video channels. Lore to fall asleep to. Lore about fucking Gilbert, who is, like, in the first house by the first lamp, who has, like maybe in the realm of, like, 30 lines in the entire game, but you will find, like, Vatividia, there are so many lore channels who will do these lore videos based on these games, and there is so much deep lore that you can keep going and going and going and going and going and never stop. Bloodborne is the one that I find the most compelling, because because I'm going to be spoiling, kind of, in a way, everything in this video. If you are into gothic horror, Lovecraftian elements, if you are into brutality and body horror, lycanthropy, vampirism, like that whole thing, like snowy castle in the middle of a field of mountains, you'll probably enjoy this. It's got kind of a Bram Stoker, Mary Shelley thing going on. If you like, grotesque femininity, if you enjoy an exploration of the dichotomy of what it is like to be feminine and what it is like to be a mother, this is very good for that as well. If you want a stark social and religious commentary that is kind of on the nose but still does a really good job, fantastic. If you want a commentary on the nature of humanity seeking knowledge, awesome as well. This video game, I should say, is absolutely wonderful. I think Bloodborne really, like I said, speaks to me the most through that whole, like, exploration of alternative femininity and, like, the themes of motherhood and things like that, and grotesque femininity, I guess, is a good word for it. But, Dark Souls, I really like that as well. Dark Souls in the, like, through the frame of, like, sustaining something that should not be sustained anymore. These games, I think, are bitingly political at times. Most of the time, I would say they are, and I love them for it. But Bloodborne we're doing today. Now, Eclectic suggested a Soulsborne lore video, and there is literally probably somewhere in the realm of a century's worth of video content about lots of different lore aspects on YouTube. So as I was writing this little script, I thought, well, I'll just do the history of Yharnam. But as I did, I found myself doing a lot of interpretation. So you could think of this as sort of like a dramatic essay that kind of walks through the entire plot of Bloodborne from sort of one specific point of view of it, kind of written in the voice that the game likes to use. So this might be a short video. I have no idea how long it will take me to read 1,210 words. So if this is a short video, I apologize. I can make another one. I would be happy to make another one about, say, like Dark Souls 3. That's the one I'm most familiar with. Or Elden Ring. I would try to tackle Sekiro, but Sekiro is simultaneously the most clear story-wise and then the most, tightly wound. There's a lot that you need to talk about if you're talking about one aspect of Sekiro lore. So we're just gonna go for this, and then if it's cool, I can do more, and if it's too short, maybe I just might do another one, or you can ask for another one, and I will be very happy to provide. But anyway, we're going to get started. nature of human progress. Thus, those who receive blood ministration begin morphing into beasts. What cured their ailments eventually led to disfiguration and madness. The afflicted sprout fur, claws, limbs in some cases. They grow in size, taller or lankier or bulkier. Most importantly, citizenry responsible, because even those that hunt the beasts have turned bestial. Neighbor turns on neighbor, turns on neighbor, turns on werewolf. The blood is truly the death knell of civilization. The madness in the city at large disguises a plot hatched by the church and a rival school seeking the power and status of the great ones. An eldritch daughter of the cosmos lives below the city, guiding the church in her benevolence, while she acts as an endless fountain of healing blood. The church choir communes with her to gain knowledge that will surely addle their minds, yet they do it anyway. The rival school collects corpses to create their own artificial great one, their leader, a madman living in dreams, achieved through the sacrifice of all of his students, all while hunters hunt hunters who hunt beasts despite being beasts themselves. Never trust those who have all of the answers. Their madness is the greatest of all. Yet you, good hunter, you find yourself traveling to Yharnam. Your own affliction, your own ailment can surely be healed by this blood ritual they do. All they require is that you join in the hunt for these beasts that have beset their city. A small price to pay. You can handle a weapon, a gun. You can do it, good hunter. The madness they whisper about. Those hunters who hunt the hunters, surely those are apparitions. The citizenry, cured by blood ministration, sprouting claws and fur and fangs, surely that is all just hearsay. It's rumor. Boogeymen created so children keep away from the hunters in their mission around corners and down alleys. You will be fine, good hunter. Won't you? You walk down the steps of the clinic in which you received this miracle cure, ready to begin your grim duty, and are snuffed out, torn to shreds by a former patient of the clinic, now lupine and hungry. But, good hunter, do not fear. Do you dream? With the longest sleep comes a dream. A little workshop on the hill, a bird bath of fanatical little servants, cycle.